Do you ever ponder about something so long that you eventually have to look into it deeper? Like, have you had curiosity gnaw away at you until you can't stand it anymore? Either way, that's what happened to me. And that's how I wound up in this jail. Well, my name is Keith, and this, in a nutshell, is what happened to me. Well, it was just last month actually. I was wandering around the Hoenn region, doing what most trainers do, training my Pokemon, catching others, and earning gym badges. I always use fighting types because they're just so strong. But I heard of one with near legendary strength, Machoke. I always wanted to have one to call my own and train. Anyways, in short, I went out, searched around, caught a Machoke, and named him Dojo. He was so cool. I loved everything about him. His muscles, his punches, those red lines on his arms, even his smile. But there was one question that bugged my mind since the second I met him. Why do Machokes always wear belts? I thought about it for a while, then got on with my journey. Dojo and I did everything together. We beat the Elite Four, I taught him how to ride a bike down the bike trail, and sometimes we even wrestled. He was just like another person. We were like brothers. Just as inseparable too. But that question still bugged me. Why do Machokes always wear belts? The question played over and over in my mind, and I kept coming up with and dismissing my own theories. One night, when we were camping, I couldn't take it anymore. I just had to see what would happen if I took off the belt. I made sure Dojo was asleep and slowly snuck up and slowly reached for the belt buckle. I clasped my fingers around the buckle and pulled with all my might. I pulled and pulled until I finally ripped the belt off of him. Immediately, his eyes shot open and he roared in pain. His arms and legs expanded, and those red marks on his arms tore open around the arms, and the skin on his arms ripped off, exposing bloody, pulsating muscles which kept growing and growing. He howled and roared in pain. I stared at him in absolute horror as tears of pain rolled down his cheeks. He looked me in the eye with an expression that said, "How could you?" His muscles again pulsated and grew larger. They just kept expanding for what seemed like eternity. Then, when they were as thick as a tree trunk, they stopped expanding, and Dojo stood silent, looking down. I stared, unsure of what to do. Machoke looked at me with dark eyes and small red pupils and roared in anger and rage. This isn't Dojo, I thought to myself. He trudged towards me growling, his arms so huge that they dragged on the ground and left ditches there as he walked. I thought maybe he was still himself, so I reached out a hand to him. He snarled and grabbed my arm, crushing it and shattering my bone in just a second, without any effort. I fell to the ground, crying and yelling in pain, as he ran away into the night. Suddenly, everything went dark. I passed out then, but apparently he ran into the nearest city, which was Veilstone City. He ran on a rampage through the city, demolishing half the mall there, and crushing the game corner along with everybody inside. Trainers sent out their Pokemon to stop him, but it wasn't enough. Not even the gym leader stood a chance. He killed them all. No survivors. The whole city went from a big city to a graveyard. When I woke up, Officer Jenny drove up to me on a motorcycle. She held up a picture of Dojo and said, "Is this your Machoke, sir?" Before I could answer, she saw the belt in my hand and called for backup. More police arrived and handcuffed me. They questioned me about why I took the belt off, and all I could say was, I was curious. So that's my story. Oh, you want to know what happened to Dojo? Well, they never found him. He escaped and he's still alive. And if I ever meet him again, I won't even have the time to put the belt back on him.